I'm still drinking out of my Halloween mug. I am in denial. Hi BookTube, I am a Rebecca without my Sarah, and today I'm talking about the books that I read in October. I had a pretty good month. I read 7 books in October, which is pretty average-ish for me, I guess, but pretty much all of them were 5 stars. I've also found that I'm very easy to please, especially in October. You get like semi-spook vibes going. Love it. I'm gonna eat that shit right up. I'm also drinking coffee today. I know. Coffee. What am I, like an adult now? Oh, I got my coffee. I like coffee too. Well, not really. I like all the crap I put in coffee to make it taste good. In this instance, chocolate and peppermint mocha creamer. Nico agrees with me. My husband and I decided whenever he cries, that means he agrees. I don't think it's true. What? Where did you go? Hi, sweetie. What's wrong? You look like you want to hunt me. Please don't. I'll win, but I won't feel good about it. I'm mostly not drinking wine because I signed up to do like a lot of other projects and stuff, and I'm like, ooh, I'll drink while I do them because that's my thing. And then I realized that's too much wine. That's coming from me. The first book I read in October is Trail of Lightning by Rebecca Roanhorse. I can actually say what this book is about now. I've held up this book so many times to be like, I'm gonna read it, and then I don't. But this time, I did. This is a post-apocalyptic world in like a former Navajo reservation, Christ. Not even drinking, still can't talk. The way climate change has destroyed the world has also made room for, you know, all kinds of magical shit to wake up. And the protagonist is very good at killing monsters, and she discovers like a kind of really fucked up one, and she's like, I gotta figure out what this is. So she teams up with this dude who's like a healer and a delight, and they go searching for the witch they believe who resurrected the monster, or who made the monster. I told you I would be able to tell you what it was about. Listen, I did, in my way. This was great. I think one of the first things I liked about it right off the bat is that it is a man and a woman teamed up, and the man in it is like, let's talk our way out. Let's make peace. Let me heal people. And the woman's like, I'm gonna cut off their head just in case. You never know. And she's right. You never know. Nico's playing with a little foam football now. Why do we have that? Neither of us really care for football. This was pretty violent and very heavy themes, so definitely warnings for gore. Hang on. You want it? You want the football? You want the football? Go get it. He's like a dog. This is like the kind of violent, action-y, fun monster shit that I love, so it was great. I picked up the sequel. I was planning to read it this month. I might. I'd like to. The next book I read is With Malice by Eileen Cook. I'm not sure how I heard about this. I think it was from Kayla from Books and Lala, which makes sense, because, you know, thriller. Mostly I liked the cover, and I found it at a used bookstore, so I decided to pick it up. This is about a girl named Jill who has just graduated high school, I think. No, she's like coming up at the end of high school. She's about to graduate, and she was supposed to go on this trip to Italy. The novel starts off with her waking up from something horrible that happened, and she doesn't really have any memories of the last several weeks, and her parents tell her that she'd already been to Italy and she was in a car accident there. So this book is about her kind of trying to figure out what happened, and at the same time she's like being very demonized, and she's not entirely sure why. And I loved the setup of this a lot, and I really liked the mystery of it. Most of it takes place in a hospital. It was a really quick read. I read it on the plane on the way to Iceland. I'm not sure like how I felt about it totally, I guess. Like, I found it interesting and pretty good, I guess is like how I'd summarize it. Which I maybe I shouldn't do wrap-ups because I don't really have like severely in-depth feelings about a lot of things, but sometimes I just want to be like, this was kind of a cool mystery. I'm not good at this. What do people say in book reviews? Shit! I've been feeling less like I want to criticize books lately, and I'm gonna have to do a video where I just kind of like sit and chat soon and maybe explain why. Not wanting to criticize novels won't be a problem for the next book I read though, because it was The Luminous Dead by Starling. I wanted to read this like the second I saw the cover before I really knew anything about it. This is about a woman who is going inside, like underneath a planet. She's not entirely sure what her mission is, but she was expecting to have more of a crew, except she doesn't have one. All she has is the person who hired her talking to her, like talking her through getting through this cave, this underground cave. As the book goes on, she kind of is learning more about why she's there, and you're learning more about the woman who's speaking to her, whose name M. And it's so good. I like stuff with caves a lot. I don't know why. I think because I don't have a lot of fears, but like a cave would be up there. I think it was just because it was a cave that it gave me Descent vibes, but I don't care because I fucking love the Descent. So give me all the Descent vibes. Throughout this book, the protagonist is going through so much, and she's slowly not sure if everything she's seeing is real. Part of what makes this so scary is that she's in a suit and the computer is like generating what it like its best guess at what she's seeing. Not its best guess, but it's kind of like trying to create everything for her. So she's like, she's not sure if she should trust the computer or herself, but at the same time it would be very dangerous to take the helmet off. It's there's a lot going on. It's pretty long. I didn't care. The ending wasn't my favorite, but I also didn't care. It was still so phenomenal. Next up, I read Wilder Girls by Rory Power, which I think everyone already read. I started a book club, like an IRL book club, and I picked this for the first book. What I learned about trying to start a book club, you can't ask people what they want to read, you just gotta fucking pick something and be like, this is what we're reading, everybody. And they read it, and I think everyone liked it, which was pretty cool. I think everyone knows what this is about. The school on an island that's been quarantined and all this fucked up shit is happening to these girls who are still there. I thoroughly enjoyed this. I loved the ending as well. No spoilers, but a lot of people were like, there's a lot of mixed reactions on the ending, and I was like, I love the ending. That was great. What I really loved was how so much of it came down to these three girls and just who they were and how they felt about each other, and I loved all three of them. They were such amazing characters to follow, and I definitely will keep an eye out for future Rory Power books. Also, I would take another book in this world, this universe, anywhere in it. I would love it. If it was like I talked about this a bit in the book club, but this occasionally gave me vibes for The Girl with All the Gifts in like a very good way. And I haven't read the other books in that universe, but something like that, that the author did there. I cannot remember the author of The Girl with All the Gifts, but they're like kind of, not spin-offs, but just separate stories within the same universe, and that's very cool. I would definitely take that in this world. Continuing on, which is like very quick, wonderful horror books. I read Horrorstor by Grady Hendrix, and I enjoyed this so much more than I thought I was going to. I was pretty sure I was gonna like it. It is very spooky, a lot of darkness, a lot of just horrible shit going on, and there's some fairly gross bodily fluid stuff that made me want to barf. This is a real wobbly book. It's hard to hold up. Stop. This is about a small team of people who work at like an IKEA type store, and weird shit starts happening there, so they're like, let's stay overnight and see what's happening. And it all takes place in the span of this one night for the most part. The protagonist is really interesting to me because I feel like I've been in a similar position to her. She's in her 20s. She's trying to like get out of like her mom's house or trailer and just be on her own, but it's so hard, and she's like drowning. Like, she owes her roommates money and she can't pay them, and that's why she's taking this overnight shift, because it would give her some overtime, and she's working this retail job that she's just stuck in. There's a lot of talk throughout this book about the way retail work is set up for the workers to almost be very prison-like, and the way the IKEA store is set up to just be like get you trapped in there and like get you in a circle. And if you've worked a lot of retail, you know a lot of those feelings. And I definitely felt those feelings. I was unsure about the end until the last like page and a half, and then I was like, okay, yeah, thank you. I also don't ask for sequels a lot, and this ends fine the way it is, but I would 100% take another fucking book just like this, like, or to just have it pick up exactly where it left off. I'd be down. Next up, I finally did it. After several years, I read The Good House by Tananrive Due. I'm so glad I did, although it did hurt a lot. Just about every content warning you could think of, by the way. If you're like, I have a really powerful trigger, that's one of the big ones. It's probably in here. But this is about a woman who lives in this house that she inherited from her grandmother. And one day her son dies in the house. She leaves and then is going back for the first time in a couple of years to kind of figure out what she wants to do with the place, is kind of the vibe you're getting. And all kinds of weird shit starts happening to her and the people around her. And it's a lot. It's very long. It is incredibly slow, like daunting horror, which I do enjoy sometimes, and I loved that. It did give me Stephen King vibes in a good way, like the good stuff about Stephen King novels. I don't really read Stephen King anymore because, you know, if you don't know, you should know. But there is some good shit in Stephen King novels, and like that's what I was getting from this book, the good shit. There's quite a bit of racism. However, in this instance, it is written by a black woman. So, different. She also there were a couple instances where she used the F slur, and I felt it was unnecessary. And I feel like that would be my one complaint with this book. I didn't feel like that it needed to be there the couple times that it was there. Overall, loved The Good House. Don't know if I would read it again. Maybe, now that I'm thinking about it, it might be super fascinating to read it again, knowing everything that I know. And I loved the end. Can someone talk about the end of this book to me? The last book I read, like the last day of October, I reread The Girl from All the Gifts is what I almost just called it. I reread The Girl from the Well by Chupeco. This was a reread for me. I reread this years ago though, and I was actually starting to get a little nervous because recently, like, Kathy and Jocelyn read it. They didn't particularly love it as much as I had. So I thought maybe it was just because I read it a long time ago. I wasn't as particular about books then. Not that I'm super particular now, but somehow I did used to be less particular. Shocking. But no, I read this in like a sitting, still fucking loved it so much. One thing I'll definitely say is that you can see how Chupeco's writing has improved a lot, honestly. I loved this book, but I think in the dialogue in particular, you can kind of get debut vibes from it. But I didn't care. It didn't take me out of it. I can have complaints about a book and still thoroughly enjoy the whole thing, start to finish. So, but if you don't know what this is about, this is about Okiku, who is a lot of like Japanese ghost stories are modeled after her, like The Ring. And she's escaped from her well and kind of spends her time like killing dudes who kill children. She can see if she runs into a man and they've harmed a child or killed a child, she can see that. So she gets revenge, and it's great. One day she sees a 15-year-old boy named Tark, and he has like a dark, vengeful spirit kind of like attached to him or following him around. So she's like, what the fuck is this? And starts following him around and just to kind of see what's going on. I do just love this story. I did want to read The Suffering in October, but I didn't get to it. I think I'm going to read it next because I do still want to do a video about the duology and just kind of, I don't know, I think why I love it so much and just kind of how it hits a lot of the things that I want from books that books don't give me. That's what I read in October. I feel like Sober Me is somehow less coherent. Quick question. Should I continue to do wrap-ups? I don't do them all the time, but I'm not a very critical reader. I know I'm not, and I've always been okay with that, but like, that means I'm not really giving like good reviews, you know? Like I'm just being like, this was so good, it gave me heart feelings. And that's not very helpful, but I don't know, maybe it is. I hope everyone had a wonderful October. I'm sorry it's over, but that rhymed. Adorable. But it will be Christmas soon. And fuck all the haters on Christmas right now. Everyone's like hating on Christmas. Like, we need Thanksgiving first. Fuck it. Who cares about Thanksgiving? Thanksgiving's dumb. You should just call it Stuffing Day. That's another thing I like about Thanksgiving. I get to eat so much stuffing. And mashed potatoes. God damn it. I really want stuffing now. Comment below with your favorite Thanksgiving side dish. Unless it's not stuffing, because then I don't want to hear it.